All right, guys, we are live and we are waiting for Donald J. Trump and Elon Musk blockbuster interview. As you see here, Jesse Waters on Fox News is finishing up. The world right now is anticipating these two guys sitting up in front of each other, addressing a lot of things, making massive announcements. So please smash the like button, share this video. We're just moments away from Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Let me put here, awaiting President Trump and Elon Musk interview about to start in a few seconds. As it starts, you guys know the media has been trying to pit these two guys against each other, but they're doing the work that the American people, a lot of American people are excited about. A lot of American people are not excited about as well, as protests have arisen in the United States of America, trying to stop Donald J. Trump, mostly led by Democrats, mostly led by deranged folks. So this interview is going to be a goodie. Thank you so much for the gifted. Again, thank you so much for watching. Also, comment down where you guys are watching from. And here we go. Let's do it.
Welcome to Hannity, and we are back in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. In just a moment, we're going to take you inside the White House for an exclusive interview with the President of the United States, Donald Trump, alongside the left's newest boogeyman, the leader of Doge, Elon Musk. In less than a month, both President Trump and Elon Musk, they have taken a wrecking ball to the deep state, all while exposing a shocking amount of waste, fraud, abuse, corruption at the federal level. But this is only the beginning. Brick by brick, dollar by dollar, penny by penny, the American people are taking their country back from the grips of what is an out-of-control bureaucracy, and not a moment too soon. So without further ado, here's part one of my interview with President Trump and Elon Musk. I got to start with this. So he's working for free with Doge. He's kind of put a lot of his life on hold. And you sued Twitter a number of years ago. You just made him pay you $10 million?
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
Well, I sued from long before he had it.
Yeah.
And I mean, they really did a number on me, you know, and I sued and they had to pay, they paid $10 million settlement.
You're okay with that?
I mean, I left it up to the lawyers and you know, the team running Twitter. So I said, you guys do what you think is the right, it makes sense.
I think it's fun.
I think it's a very low. I was looking to get much more money than that.
So you gave him a discount in the lawsuit.
He got he got a big discount. I don't think he even knows about it.
He's become one of your, if you read and believe the media, he's become one of your best friends. He's working for free for you.
Well, I love the president. I just want to be clear about that.
You don't care about that.
I know. I love the president.
You love the president.
I think President Trump is a good man, and he's, you know.
It's nice the way he said that, you know, there's something nice about it.
It really is. You know, because, I mean, the president's been so unfairly attacked in the media. It's really outrageous. And I've at this point spent a lot of time with the president, and not once have I seen him do something that was mean or cruel or wrong. Not once.
You know, I've known him for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I've never seen anybody take as much as he's taken.
Yeah.
And we've discussed this, and I'm like, how do you deal with it?
Did I have a choice?
Well, you would say that to me. I'm like, what am I going to do? Worry about it? And, you know, and then culminating in 2 assassination attempts, which resulted in your endorsement.
Well, I was going to do it anyway, but that was
it.
Precipitating event. Yeah.
That speeded it up a little bit.
Yeah.
The day of the assassination.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It sped it up, but I was going to do it anyway.
Mr. President, with your indulgence, I'm convinced that people only know a little bit about Elon. I don't think they know everything about Elon, because as I studied and prepared for this interview, I learned a lot about you that I didn't know. I think people will think about Tesla. Democrats are demonizing you and trying to make the country hate you. I just want people to understand you a little bit better, and the person that you've gotten to know and have now put a lot of trust in.
Sure.
And, you know, just let's go over a little bit of your bio, starting with PayPal and how you became involved in Tesla and SpaceX and Neuralink and all these.
Well, I mean, you know, I think the way to think of me is like I'm a technologist, and I try to make technologies that improve the world and make life
show
better.
your shirt.
Yeah, and that's why I like my T-shirt says tech support, because I'm here to provide the president with technology support. And now that may seem like, well, is that a silly thing? But actually, it's a very important thing, because the president will make these executive orders, which are very sensible and good for the country, but then they don't get implemented. So if you take, for example, all the funding for the migrant hotels, the president issued an executive order where, hey, we need to stop taking taxpayer money and paying for luxury hotels for illegal immigrants, which makes no sense. Like, so obviously, people do not want their tax dollars going to fund high-end hotels for illegals. And yet they were still doing that, even as late as last week. And so, we went in there and we're like, this is in violation of the presidential executive order. It needs to stop. So what we're doing here is one of the biggest functions of the Doge team is just making sure that the presidential executive orders are actually carried out. And this is, I just want to point out, this is a very important thing, because the president is the elected representative of the people. So he's representing the will of the people. And if the bureaucracy is fighting the will of the people and preventing the president from implementing what the people want, then what we live in is a bureaucracy and not a democracy.
No, you're both aware, you have to be keenly aware that the media and the punditry class, not that, I think you've proven they have no power anymore, because they threw everything they had at you and they didn't win. And that was, the New York Times, Washington Post, 3 networks, every late night comedy show, 2 cable channels. They just threw everything, lawfare, weaponization.
Sure.
And now I see they want you two to start, they want a divorce. They want you two to start hating each other. And they try, President Elon Musk, for example. You do know that they're doing that to you.
Oh, I see it all the time. They tried it, then they stopped. That wasn't. They have many different things of hatred. Actually, Elon called me. He said, they're trying to drive us apart. I said, absolutely. No, they said, we have breaking news. Donald Trump has ceded control of the presidency to Elon Musk. President Musk will be attending a cabinet meeting tonight at 8:00. And I say, It's just so obvious. They're so bad at it. I used to think they were good at it. They're actually bad at it, because if they were good at it, I'd never be president. Because I think nobody in history has ever gotten more bad publicity than me. I could do the greatest things. I get 98% bad publicity. I could do, outside of you and a few of your very good friends, it's like the craziest thing. But you know what I have learned, Elon? The people are smart. They get it.
Yeah, they do, actually.
They get it. They really see what's happening.
Yes.
And at the end of this interview, what I would like is I want people to know the relationship and know more about you. What is the relationship, Mr. President?
Well, I respect him. I've always respected him. I never knew that he was right on certain things, and I'm usually pretty good at this stuff. He did Starlink. He did things that were so advanced and nobody knew what the hell they were. I can tell you in North Carolina, they had no communication. They were wiped out. Those people were, they had rivers in between, land that never saw water. All of a sudden, there was a river and a vicious, like rapids. People were dying all over. They had no communication. They said, do you know Elon Musk? They didn't really know I knew him. I said, yeah. He said, could you get Starlink? It's like the first time I ever heard of it. I said, what's Starlink? A communication system. That's unbelievable.
I have it.
Yeah. And he said, I called him and I said, listen, they really need it. And he got like thousands of units of this communication, and it saved a lot of lives. He got it immediately, and you can't get it. I mean, you have to wait a long time to get it. But he got it to him immediately. And I said, that's pretty amazing. And I didn't even know he had it. We watched the rocket ships and we watch Tesla. I think, something that had an effect on me was when I saw the rocket ship come back and get grabbed, like you grab a beautiful little baby, you grab your baby. It just
hug the rocket.
I've never seen.
Right, everyone needs a hug, including rockets.
No, but and he said, you can't really have a rocket program if you're going to dump $1 billion into the ocean every time you fly. You have to save it.
Right.
And he saved it. First time that I've ever seen that done. Now nobody else can do it. If you look at the U.S., Russia, or China, they can't do it, and they won't be able to do it for a long time. He has the technology. So you learn I wanted somebody really smart to work with me in terms of the country, a very important aspect. Because, I mean, he doesn't talk about it. He's actually a very good businessman. And when he talks about the executive orders, and this is probably true for all presidents, you write an executive order and you think it's done. You send it out. It doesn't get done. It doesn't get implemented. They don't implement it. Maybe they're from the last administration, and they are in some cases. You try and get them out as fast as you can. But as soon as he said that, I said, you know, that's interesting. You write a beautiful executive and you sign it and you assume it's going to be done, but it's not. What he does is he takes it, and with his 100 geniuses, he's got some very brilliant young people working for him that dress much worse than him, actually.
Yeah,
they dress in just T-shirts. You wouldn't know they have 180 IQ.
Wait a minute. So he's your tech support.
No, he is.
I actually
but
literally
he's
am
much
tech
more
support.
than that.
I literally am tech support, though. But
He gets it done. He's a leader.
Yeah.
He really is. He gets it done. You get a lot of tech people, and you have people that are good with tech, but he gets it done. You know, I said in real estate, you had guys that would draw beautiful renderings of a building, and they'd draw the rendering. It would be great. And you say, great, when are you starting? But they were never able to get it built. They couldn't get the financing. They couldn't get the approvals. It would never get done. And then you have other guys that are able to get it done. You know, they could just get it done. I was in real estate. Same thing in this. He gets it done. So when he said that, he said, you know, when you sign these executive orders, a lot of them don't get done, and maybe the most important ones. And he would take that executive order that I'd sign, and he would have those people go to whatever agency it was. When are you doing it? Get it done. Get it done. And some guy that maybe didn't want to do it, all of a sudden he's signing. He just doesn't want to be bothered.
Do a lot of those executive orders have to be codified into law? You need the Republican Congress
and
to
they
follow
will be.
up?
A lot of them will be. Yeah,
They will.
But look, in the meantime, we have 4 years. The beauty is we have 4 years. That's why I like doing it right at the beginning, because an executive order is great. I mean, the one problem is both good and bad, because when they did all these executive orders, I've canceled most of them. They were terrible. I mean, we're going to go radical left communist. Okay, it was crazy. Their executive orders were so bad. If they ever got them codified, you'd never be able to break them. So the damage that Biden has done to this country, and it's not even Biden, it's the people that circled him in the Oval Office, okay? But the damage they did to this country, in terms of, let's say, open borders, you know, there's so many things, but open borders where millions of people poured into our country, and hundreds of thousands of those people are criminals. They're murderers, they're drug dealers, they're gang members, they're people from prisons from all over the world. And we have a great guy, Tom Homan, and he is doing so incredibly. You saw the numbers, they're now like 96%.
95%.
He is a phenomenal guy. And Kristi Noem is doing an unbelievable job. And he wanted her. He said, she's so tough. And I said, I don't think of her as that way. You know, she's very nice. He said, no, she's so tough. And she is. I see with the horses, she's riding the horse. Let's go. She's great. But the team we have is really unbelievable. But those executive orders, I sign them, and now they get passed on to him and his group and other people, and they're all getting done. We're getting them done.
Let me go back a little bit to your background, because it's beyond impressive. You were the chief engineer, for example. You were an early believer in Tesla. You became the CEO, and then the chief engineer, which was phenomenal. SpaceX, same thing, which is unbelievable. I mean, you were the first private company to send astronauts successfully into space, first private company to send astronauts into orbit.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep.
He's going to go into orbit soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, he's going to go to Mars. He's
Starlink
At some point. Yeah.
is in over.
I mean, they always ask me, like, do you want to die on Mars? And I say, well, yes, but not on impact.
Starlink is in 100 countries. This is going to be hard. I feel like I'm interviewing two brothers here.
You go ahead.
Star Shield, which could be used for national defense.
Yeah, it is already being used for national defense.
Then you have what is it called? Optimus, a part of Tesla.
The robot, yeah.
Or robotic arm. Then you have an AI arm. And then you have something that really fascinated me, and it's called Neuralink.
Yes.
You might help the blind to see, and people with spinal cord injuries, that they can recover, where in the past, how close is that becoming a success?
Neuralink, we've implanted Neuralink in 3 patients so far who are quadriplegics, and it allows them to directly control their phone and computer just using their mind, just by thinking. It's like, so we call this product telepathy. So you control your computer and phone just by thinking, and it's possible to actually control the computer and phone faster than someone who has working hands. Then the next step would be to add a second Neuralink implant past the point where the neurons are damaged, so that somebody can walk again, and so they can have full body functionality restored. And
you like Bobby, right?
I like Bobby, actually. Yeah, I think I supported Bobby Kennedy. I think he's unfairly maligned as someone who is anti-science, but I think he isn't. He just wants to question the science, which is the essence of the science. The scientific method fundamentally is about always questioning the science.
Well, they didn't tell us the truth about COVID.
Correct.
That's for sure.
Yes.
And we learned a lot with the Twitter files. And that just then raises a question. You're the richest man in the world. You may not like that part. You're pretty competitive.
It's neither here nor there.
I've known you a long time. But
That's why.
but he's on your team. Well, that's true. He can't top that.
He's good. You know, I wanted to find somebody smarter than him. I searched all over. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't.
You
couldn't.
really tried hard.
I couldn't find anyone smarter, right? So we had it for the country.
But this is the thing.
We settled on this.
Well,
guy.
thanks for having me.
So
I'm just trying to be useful.
this is the interesting. This is where we are as a society, and I hate to do this to you, but I'm going to do it anyway. You're doing all of these things. Your Doge. Nobody at Doge gets paid a penny, correct?
Well, actually, some people are federal employees.
Some
So
are,
they do-
okay.
Yeah,
They're helping.
But it's fair to say that the software engineers at Doge could be earning millions of dollars a year, and instead of earning a small fraction of that as federal employees.
Okay, so
And they're very committed people.
So
Yes.
you're committed to helping the blind see, people with spinal cord injuries recover.
Yes.
You're committed to getting to Mars. You're committed to rescue. You're going to help rescue next month 2 astronauts that I think were abandoned. They dispute that in an interview.
When
At
are you
the
getting
president's request, or instruction, we are accelerating the return of the astronauts, which was postponed kind of to a ridiculous degree.
They got left in space.
They've been there. They were supposed to be there 8 days. They're there almost 300.
Biden.
They were
Yeah.
Yes, they were left up there for political reasons, which is not good.
Okay, it's not good. Now, if I had the weight of the pressure of doing that successfully on my shoulders, I think I'd be, but when we spoke before we did this interview, you are very confident. You think this will be a successful mission.
Well, we don't want to be complacent, but we have brought astronauts back from the space station many times before, and always with success.
Mm-hmm.
So, as long as we're not complacent,
When are you going to launch?
I think it's about 4 weeks to bring them back.
About 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And
We're
have
being
the go-ahead.
extremely cautious. Yeah.
You now have the go-ahead.
Yes. Well, thanks to you.
They didn't have the go-ahead with Biden.
What's that?
He was going to leave him in space. I think he was going to leave him in space.
well, it's like
He
when
considered
we were
it
growing
like-
up, lost in space.
Yeah, he didn't want the publicity. Can you believe it?
Unbelievable. And so
Yeah.
I want to echo something that the president said and then ask an overarching question. So people get hit with Hurricane Helene. They have no communication with the outside world. You come to the rescue. You donated that, I
Yes,
believe?
yes.
Okay. You donated to the people
He saved a lot of lives
in
in North Carolina. He saved a lot of lives.
and California after the wildfires?
California, but I mean, in North Carolina, where they were really in trouble, they had no communication. People were
Nothing.
dying. They were dying of starvation. He saved a lot of lives in North Carolina.
Okay. Now you're going to rescue astronauts. And now, and again, you do all of this. I would think liberals would love the fact that you have the biggest electric vehicle company in the world.
Yeah. I mean, I used to be adored by the left,
Yeah, not anymore.
Less so these
He
days.
killed that, huh?
I mean, less.
I really didn't.
Well, I mean, this whole sort of like, they call it like Trump derangement syndrome. And I don't, you don't realize how real this is until like you can't reason with people. So like I was at a friend's birthday party in LA, just a birthday dinner, and it was like a nice quiet dinner and everyone was behaving normally. And I happened to mention, this is before the election, like a month or two before, I happened to mention the president's name. And it was like they got shot with a dart in the jugular that contained like methamphetamine and rabies. Okay. And they're like, wow. And I'm like, what is wrong? Like, guys, like you just can't have like a normal conversation.
Yeah.
And it's like it's like they become completely irrational.
He has no idea, but if you're friends with him,
Yeah.
you pay a price. You know, it's like I walk into a restaurant in New York and it's like half the room gets daggers and they want to.
No, the eye daggers level is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, there was like, I had like some invitation because I got invited to like basically a big sort of damn event like that was, but it received the invitation like the beginning of last year, and I still attended even after I'd endorsed President Trump, and I didn't realize how profoundly that would affect how I was received. I mean, I walk into the room and I'm getting just the dirty looks from everyone. Like if looks could kill, I would have been dead several times over.
But that was not before Trump.
Like those ashes on the floor.
Before Trump, that never happened, right?
No.
All right, more of my interview from the White House with President Trump and Elon Musk straight ahead.
Very, very interesting what they got going on, those two. Hold on real quick. All right. So the interview continues. Shall we keep watching this interview? Make sure to smash the like button. If you guys can, we continue to watch the interview. We can also end it right there. Part 1. We can continue if you guys want. Yeah. Very interesting. I have a lot of opinions about Elon, man. I don't know whether this guy is evil, whether this guy is a good person, or whether this guy is fooling the world right now. I don't know. I really don't know who or what this guy is all about. I really like some people, they trust him, they believe he's a good person. But I don't know. Really don't know, guys. I'm up in arms about the fact that he is who he says he is. I really don't know. Bro, I'm telling you, he got a girl pregnant recently. He got 13 children. He's not a conservative, obviously, but he's leaning there in a lot of issues. But I don't know who this guy is. Trying to figure that out. So we'll continue to watch, of course. We might have to go to another stream here because this stream I'm watching is getting kind of weird. So we'll continue watching in just a second here. But yeah, I mean, you can only I don't know. I think Trump likes him, trusts him. Trump has always said that he wants to take care of our genius. Definitely think he's a genius. He got 13 babies. By the way, I want to say thank you for the happy birthday wish. Feliz cumpleaños, salud y bendiciones by Dr. Latina. Appreciate you so much for the $100. Appreciate you guys. Well, he's trying to repopulate the earth and not depopulate. That's true. So that means having a whole bunch of children out of wedlock. I just don't think that's the conservative thing to do, but that's the thing to do when you're just not a conservative, which is totally fine. But I as somebody that claims to be conservative, or at least try to live a conservative lifestyle, I try to. We're not perfect, by the way. I'm not judging him. What I'm saying is that a lot of people are okay with it. I don't think I'm okay with it. If I would be a Christian conservative, I would say, whoa, that's too much. Because we talk about people having kids out of wedlock. We literally, talk about that all the time. But I don't think that's fine. I don't think it's okay. Go marry a woman, one woman. He's not conservative, he's MAGA. Oh, that's I would have disagreed with you. I wouldn't. What? Having 13 children all out of wedlock? No, it's not fine. That's his life. He could live it how he wants, but I will not say, oh, I think that's fine. That's not fine. Especially when there was a girl that he got pregnant who claimed to have been a conservative. That's where the conversation is going. There was a girl that said she was a conservative woman, and then she had a baby with him, and now she's just a woman with a baby. And, they're not together. That's all I'm saying. But he can have as many kids as he wants. That's his life. I'm not judging him for that. I'm judging people who claim to be conservative that are okay with that lifestyle. I'm not. I think that's kind of crazy. 13 babies, all different, 4 or 5 different moms. It's all broken homes, guys. It's just the way it is. That's just my opinion, though. It doesn't stop me from thinking he's a genius or not. definitely a genius, and he could definitely take care of as many babies as he wants to. Oh, some of you, it's good to be back, man. It's good to be back. We're about to get part 2 of this interview. A lot of you guys are staying. We got 1,400 people. I appreciate you guys. If you haven't smashed the like button, please take your time. Smash that like button right now. And then we'll continue to watch this, together. People in the Bible have many children. Yeah, people in the Bible have many children. But a lot of them, and a lot of the stories that you're reading about, you could be reading about Paul, you could be reading about many others in the Bible. A lot of them are written about before they found Jesus, before they found Christ, or before they found God. So you can't live off their mistakes. They had a lot of children out of wedlock, so that's just, my opinion. But he is the richest man in the world. But then again, as a Christian person, I don't think that that's right. I don't think having, kids out of wedlock, I don't think that's right. Even if I were to do it, I would know that what I'm doing is wrong. But it happened anyways, and we must love and we must continue to move on. But he pays for their college. Elon has created. Thank you for the birthday. Oh, I missed one. I missed the birthday wish. No. Tammy, thank you so much for your birthday donation. I almost missed you, man. I almost missed you. Tammy, thank you. I appreciate you. Bridget, appreciate you as well. Somebody said, again, who cares? It's a conversation for me to have with Christians, other Christians, and other people. I care about that topic. You don't have to. Old Testament. Well, that's why we live by the New Testament. Old Testament is the Old Testament for a reason. All right, here we go. Part 2, guys.
Take a look. This is the $1 million or $1 billion, I'm among billionaires, question. So you have all of this going on and you stop in a way. You're still doing it and you partner with him. And this is what you get from the Democrats. You get, nobody voted for Elon. Well, nobody voted for any of your cabinet nominees. Okay. People are dying because of Doge cuts. I'll give you a chance to respond to all that. What Doge is doing is illegal. Elon Musk is more street vernacular for a male body part. It's a constitutional crisis.
Okay. Why are they reacting like this?
Well, first of all, do you give it flying rip? Number one, and
well, I guess we must be over the target or doing something right. If like they wouldn't be complaining so much if we weren't doing something useful. I think. But what all we're really trying to do here is restore the will of the people through the president. And what we're finding is that there's an unelected bureaucracy. Speaking of unelected, there's a vast federal bureaucracy that is implacably opposed to the president and the cabinet. And you look at, say, DC voting, it's 92% Kamala. Okay, so we're in 92% Kamala. That's a lot.
they don't like me here either.
I think about that number a lot. I'm like 92%. That's basically almost everyone.
Yeah.
And so, but how can you, if the will of the president is not implemented, and the president is representative of the people, that means the will of the people is not being implemented. And that means we don't live in a democracy, we live in a bureaucracy. And so I think what we're seeing here is the thrashing of the bureaucracy as we try to restore democracy and the will of the people. Is this making sense? I mean,
no, of course it does. I mean, to me, if you look at our framers and our founders, and you really become a student of history, Mr. President, and we've had conversations both on air and off air. And if we talk about constitutional order or transformational change, nobody can argue that what's happening here is it's going at the speed of light. But however, what were the principles of our framers and our founders? They wanted limited government, greater freedom for the people. And we'll get to the specific cutting of waste, fraud, and abuse. That is your goal, is it not?
Yeah, and my goal was to get great people. And when you look at what this man has done, I mean, it was something. I knew him a little bit through the White House. Originally, I'd see him around a little bit. I didn't know him before that. and I respected what he did, and he fought hard. You know, he was maybe questioned for a while. He was having some difficulties. It was not easy doing what he did. I mean, how many people have started a car company and made it really successful and made a better car where it's, you know, beating these big companies that's all they do is cars? I mean, it's really amazing the things he's done, but I didn't know it as much then as now. I mean, the fruits have sort of taken hold, but I wanted great people, and he's a great person. He's an amazing person. He's also a caring person. You know, he uses the word care. So they sign a contract in a government agency, and it has 3 months, and the guy leaves that signed the contract, and nobody else is there, and they pay the contract for 10 years.
Yeah.
So the guy is getting checks for years and years and years, and he's telling his family, obviously, maybe it was crooked, maybe he paid to get the contract, or maybe he paid that they didn't terminate it. But, you know, we have contracts that go forever, and they've been going for years, and they're supposed to end in 3 months or 5 months or 2 years or something, and they go forever. So the guy is either crooked, you know, where he knew this was going to happen, or he's crooked because he's getting payments that he knows he shouldn't be getting. But they're finding things like that. They're finding things far worse than that. And they're finding billions, and it will be hundreds of billions of dollars worth of fraud. I say waste and abuse, but fraud, waste, and abuse. And he's doing an amazing job. And he attracts a young, very smart type of person. I call them high IQ individuals, and they are. They're very high IQ and high IQ. And when they go in to see the people and talk to these people, you know, the people think they're going to pull it over. They don't. These guys are smart, and they love the country. You know, there's a certain something, but he uses the word care. So people have to care. Like when I bought Air Force One, I negotiated the price. It was $5.7 billion, and I got them down to $1.7 billion. Now they're not building the plane fast enough. I mean, they're actually in default. Boeing, they're supposed to have been building this thing forever. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
We don't build the way we used to build. You know, we used to build like a ship a day, and now to build a ship is like a big deal. And we're going to get this country back on track. We can do it, but so many things, it takes so long to get things built and get things done. And a lot of it could be something we've been discussing. The regulators go in and they make it impossible to build. They make it very difficult to build anything, whether it's a ship, a plane, or a building, or anything. And some of them do it because they want to show how important they are. Some of them do it maybe because they think they're right. They use the environment to stop progress and to stop things. It's always the environment. It's an environmental problem. It's not an environmental problem at all. But they do a lot of things. And by the way, speaking of that, Lee Zeldin is going to be fantastic in the position. It's so important. He could take 10 years to approve or disapprove something, or he could do it in a month, you know, just as good.
Sure.
And I think you're going to see a fantastic job done by him. He's a tremendous guy.
Newt, you echoed something when I just met you, and it was very similar to what Newt has been saying, that he brought this country to the dance. This is the opportunity to be transformational and to have, I would argue, the most consequential presidency if we really dig down and do something that had never been done before, and that is get rid of this bureaucracy. And I'm going to get to the specifics. You say the same thing. It's not done yet. And what do you mean by that?
I mean, winning the election is really the opportunity to fix the system. It is not fixing the system itself. So it's an opportunity to fix the system and to restore the power of democracy. And, you know, people like, it's funny how often when these attacks occur, the thing that they're accusing the administration of is what they are guilty of. They're saying that things are being done unconstitutional, but what they are doing is unconstitutional. They are guilty of the crime of which they accuse us.
That's always the first thing they do. He's in violation of the Constitution. They don't even know what they're talking. Well,
it's absurd.
It's just a con job. It's a big con job. And they're so bad for the country. It's so dangerous and so bad. And the media is so bad. When I watch MSNBC, which I don't watch much, but you have to watch the enemy on occasion, the level of arrogance and cheating, and they're just horrible people. These are horrible people.
They tell conspiracy theories.
And they start up with the Constitution. They couldn't care less about the Constitution. CNN likewise. I mean, I watch them asking questions with, the hatred with I said, why are you asking the question with such anger? You're asking me a normal question, but you see the bias. The bias is so incredible. And those two are bad. PBS is bad. AP is bad. CBS is terrible. I mean, CBS now, they changed an answer in Kamala. They asked her some questions. She answered them like, a low IQ person, the opposite of him, the absolute opposite. But she gave a horrible answer. They took the entire answer out and they put another answer that she gave 20 minutes later into as the answer. I've never even heard of that. I thought I heard of it all.
I'm going to, just for the sake of saving time, because I could spend, and I've done this on radio and TV, I can spend an hour finding the outrageous amounts of money being spent abroad, like USAID. And I just want to mention a couple, but I'm going to scroll it.
Well, I guess at a high level, I think it's what the president mentioned earlier, which is that in order to save taxpayer money, it comes down to two things: competence and caring. And when the president was shown the outrageous bill for the new Air Force One, and then negotiated it down, if the president had not applied competence and caring, the price would have been 50% higher, literally 50% higher. The president cared, the president was competent, the price was not 50% higher as a result. And so when you add more competence and caring, you get a better deal for the American people.
But we were talking about this yesterday. I could give me thousands of bills. I could pick any one of them.
Exactly.
But I could take all 1,000. And let's say it's a bill for $5,000, just $5,000, and it's done by some bureaucrat. And if he would say, I'll give you 3, I don't want to pay you 5, it's too high, I'll give you 3. But they don't do that. If a guy sends in a bill for $5,000, they pay $5,000. They expect to be cut. Everybody expects to be cut. When you send in a bill, you expect to be cut. They send in the bill higher for the most part. This is true with lawyers, legal fees. When they send in legal fees, I can cut. I wish I had the time. I would save so, but I could cut these bills in half, much better than half. But you offer people a much lower number because they actually put fat. I'm not even saying it's like a way of business. They put more on because they expect to be negotiated. When you send in a bill to the government, there's nobody to negotiate.
Yes.
You send in a bill for $10,000 and they send you a check back for $10,000. If you would call them and said, we'll give you 5. No, I need more than 5. We'll give you 5. I'm not going to pay any more than 5. I will make it 6. No, I'm not going to make it 6. And you'll settle for $5,500. You've just cut the bill almost in half. And it took like 2 minutes. But none of that's
Someone call that the art of the deal?
But that's caring. No, it's not even the art of the deal. It's caring. He uses the word, it's caring.
Yeah.
It's a certain competence, but I think it's more caring.
If you add either ingredient, either competence or caring, you'll get a better outcome. But it stands to reason that if you don't have competence, you don't have caring, you're going to get a terrible deal. And the problem is that the American taxpayers have been getting a terrible deal because look at the last administration. Can any reasonable person say that the last administration was either competent or caring?
But they lied to us and said that Joe didn't have a cognitive decline.
They fully lied.
They said the borders were closed. They said that the borders were secure. They said that, they said Obamacare would save.
They flat out lied.
It flat out lied.
Insane.
Up next, more.
Wow. They're saying some things in his interview.
All right, shout out to Barry. I had to go to his channel to watch it because the other channel was buffering. Thank you, Barry, for streaming this. We're going to be back with that crazy conversation happening in the comments right now. This is how much I've missed you guys. I've been reading most of these comments. A lot of you guys really aren't sure about Elon. But one thing about Elon that I will say is that he's a lot more transparent than a lot of people. Specifically, this dude is literally like his whole life is on the internet. He posts nonstop. I don't think he's hiding anything from us, guys. I don't think he's hiding anything. I could be wrong, but 13 children, all that stuff really doesn't matter. And by the way, it does matter if you are talking about it and you want to make it something that matters. But when it comes to government efficiency, I don't think that matters to me. I want to show you guys this real quick. This is a birthday card. It's the most creative birthday card from the boss man himself, Donald J. Trump. Look what happens when I open this card real quick. Let me put myself on a bigger screen here. When I open up the card, You open up the card and this is Donald Trump just saying happy birthday. Oh, that's too good. That is too good. No, so a lot of people are constantly saying that this is not a wedding band. This is my right hand. It just looks like my left hand because of the screen. But no, I do not have a ring on my left hand. Frame that card. Yeah. I mean, 28, man. Oh man, I'm getting old. But yeah, it's a nice creative card. Shout out to my girl for that. It's really nice. Okay. Leave Elon's private life alone. So move on, Luke. Nobody's talking about his private life as that. It's just it became a conversation on Twitter. Obviously, you might not even know what I'm talking about. So I get it. I get it. I get it. New member, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate you so much. We're going to be active here. We're active here right now, waiting on this commercial break to finish so that way we can watch part 3. I like this interview. What do you guys think about this interview so far? Somebody said, Lou, are you a virgin? What type of question is that? You guys just told me that I should not care about Elon's personal life. You're going to ask me if I'm a virgin? What? What type of question is that? Lord have mercy. I like this interview. I think this interview is actually really good. It's going to turn a lot. See, what you want to do here, I think, is you want to get the attention of those leftists that are like on the verge. There's a lot of leftists watching this interview on the verge. They don't know what to think. They don't know what to believe. They just have a bunch of leftist friends who constantly make out these guys to be the boogeyman. And they're going to be watching this interview with a lot of clarity. They're like, oh, okay, this is what's going on. These are the intentions. This is what Elon really sounds like when he's next to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is still the president. Elon's not the president. This interview is giving a lot of people a lot of clarity from the bubble and the confusion that they're living in. As far as, what they're talking about and what they're trying to do in government. Whatever you think about them personally has nothing to do with me. Fort Knox. Have you heard about that? Now, Fort Knox has been, oh man, we got it. Like I told you guys, I was gone for almost 2 weeks. There's a lot we have missed and we have not talked about. And I understand that a lot of people have left the channel. I understand. Oh, whoa, we got 5 subs gifted, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate the 5 subs. Fort Knox. We got to talk about that. Now, like I said, I'm not sure if you guys have heard about that, but it's something that we got to talk about eventually. Definitely something we got to talk about. All right, so let's stay live on this interview. The part 3 will be coming out. Thank you for the 5 subs, man. I appreciate you a lot. That means the world. Okay, I voted for Trump and I realized that they are taking total control. Fort Knox is just a distraction. I am still here. I appreciate you, Robert. Jimmy Dore has found serious lefties that approve of Doge. That's good. Like I said, guys, there's a lot of people that, once again, they're not supporters of Trump. They didn't vote for Trump, but they're looking at this as an opportunity to kind of unite on an issue that a lot of people have been talking about for a long time, which is the government. Government spending, bureaucracy, people behind the scenes. But unfortunately for them, bro, they don't want it. You said it previously before, being gay is okay, but you don't approve of Elon Musk's lifestyle, just trying to understand the Christian. No. I never said I didn't approve of his lifestyle. Number one, it's not for me to approve of not. What I'm saying is, and by the way, being gay is totally fine with me. See, people are going to live in the whatever. First of all, thinking of a sin is still a sin. A sin is still a sin. But I'm not here to control anybody's lifestyle. What I'm saying is that I'm totally fine with people living how they want to live. That's just not how I would live. You know what I mean? That's just not how I would live. But if somebody wants to have 14 kids, different baby moms, I don't care. But what I'm saying is that's just not how I live, and I don't think that that's the way anybody should live. So, yeah. Nice try there, buddy.
is the cost savings. I want people at home to understand this part. Average American makes $66,000 a year.
Yeah.
Okay? We have $37 trillion in national debt.
Yes.
Now, all the money I'm about to mention and what we're going to scroll on our screen, and all of this is going to foreign countries. It is not being spent here in America for better schools, law and order.
I think the average tax-paying American should be mad as hell because the tax money is being poorly spent.
All right, let me go to the second question first. I want to know, because people like Joni Ernst and
Joni Ernst has tried for a long time, and she's actually got a lot of good data. Senator Ernst has been really helpful, actually.
Okay, but they actually hide what the real purpose of the spending is.
Sure.
In other words, this is a question. How did you decipher? It will say humanitarian blah, blah, blah in Serbia or Afghanistan. We even give money to China, for crying out loud, which I think is nuts.
We'll give money to the Taliban.
But money to the Taliban.
Like a lot.
All right, so
like for what?
But
I want to see the pictures of what they did.
But they try to obscure it.
Giving money to the Taliban, huh?
Bottom line, which is what I'm now scrolling on the screen.
Yes.
And that is 20 million on a Sesame Street show in Iraq, 56 million to boost tourism in Tunisia and Egypt, 40 million to build schools in Jordan, 11 million to tell the Vietnamese to stop burning trash, 45 million for DEI scholarships in Burma, 520 million for consultant-driven ESG investments in Africa, DEI programs in Serbia. The president's favorite. I'm sure you love that taxpayer money was spent on a DEI musical in Ireland, or a transgender opera in Colombia, or a transgender
it sounds like how can these things be real? But this is actually what was done. It sounds like a comedy sketch.
I have 20 pages of this.
Right. It's not. It's a list a mile long.
If you had to put a number on it, how much do you think you've identified waste, fraud, abuse, corruption at this point? And again, we're going to be scrolling this throughout the program.
Well, the overall goal is to try to get $1 trillion out of the deficit. And if the deficit is not brought under control, America will go bankrupt. This is a very important thing for people to understand. A country is no different from an individual in that if an individual overspends, an individual can go bankrupt, and so can a country. And the massive waste, fraud, and abuse that has been going on, which is leading to a $2 trillion a year deficit. That's what the president was handed on Jan 20th, a $2 trillion deficit. It's insane.
For this fiscal year.
Yeah, we inherited.
Yeah.
And inflation is back. I'm only here for 2.5 weeks.
That was January.
Inflation is back. No, think of it. Inflation's back. And they said, oh, Trump, inflation. I had nothing to do with it. These people have run the country. They spent money like nobody's ever spent. They were given $9 trillion to throw out the window. $9 trillion. And they spent it on the Green News scam, I call it. It's the greatest scam in the history of the country. One of them. We have a lot of them, I guess, but one of them. Dollar-wise, probably.
DEI and wokeism and transgenderism.
Well, that's all part of it, yeah.
And LGBTQ+.
Yeah.
By the way, not in America. Other countries, not here.
You know, the amazing thing is when you see like the teaching of DEI, $9 million. How do you spend $9 million to teach? No matter what it is, you could teach physics.
Totally.
You could go to MIT for a lot less.
Expensive.
Yeah,
Expensive.
the teaching of DEI.
Yes.
How much do you believe, Elon, you've identified in waste, fraud, abuse, corruption now? And how much do you anticipate you will?
Sure. I think
1%. No, because it's so massive. This is huge money.
So what we found now is 1%.
We're just got
as good as they are, they're not going to find some contract that was crooked, crooked as hell. And I mean, there's going to be so much that isn't found. But what is found, I think he's going to find $1 trillion.
Yeah, I think so.
But I think it's a very small percentage compared to what it is.
Let me go to an area that I think is key. And you talked about this in recent interviews. And that is, we don't need a Department of Education. Okay. And what some people are trying to do is stoke fears that, oh my gosh, my kid's not going to get the money for education, or grandma's Social Security and Medicare. This was a big promise of yours on the campaign trail. So I really want to give you both an opportunity to assure the American people you will keep, money will be allocated for students, but with higher standards. For example, I would assume associated with monies given or
just
vouchers.
so much, and then
Yeah.
Elon goes, but look, Social Security won't be touched, other than
Won't be
this
touched.
fraud or something. We're going to find it's going to be strengthened, but won't be touched. Medicare, Medicaid, none of that stuff is going to be touched.
Nothing. I
You
want
don't
you to-
have to. Now, if there are illegal migrants in the system, we're going to get them out of the system and all of that fraud, but it's not going to be touched. School. I want to bring school back to the states so that Iowa, Indiana, all these places, Idaho, New Hampshire, there's so many places, the states, I figure 35 really run well. And right now it's Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, China. China, can you imagine, has top schools. We're last. So they have a list of 40 countries. We're number 40. Usually we're 38, 39. The last time we were number 40. And what I say is you got to give it back. So it doesn't work. I'll tell you what we're number one in, cost per pupil. We spend more money than any other country by far. It's not even close per pupil. Okay. So we know it doesn't work. So we spend the most and we have the worst, right? The worst result. When we give that back to Indiana, when we give that back to Iowa and back to a lot of the states that run well, they run well. There's a lot of them, 35, 37, 38. Now you're going to have 10 laggards, but you're going to have 5 real laggards, but that's going to be okay. Take New York. You give it to Westchester County. You give it to Suffolk County. You give it to upstate New York, and you give it to Manhattan, but you give it to 4 or 5 subsections. Same thing in California. Los Angeles is going to be a problem, but you're going to give it to places that run well. We can change education. Now, school choice is important, but that will get taken care of automatically. We want to bring education back to the states. You will spend
So you're
half
leaning
the
more
number,
towards grants,
and I'm not even doing
vouchers,
this.
like
I'm not
parents?
even doing this to save, but you will save. It costs you much less money. You get a much better education. If you go to some of these states, you'll be the equivalent of Norway, Sweden, Denmark, places that really have a good school system. You'll have those places will be the equivalent, and your overall numbers will get so much better.
Do you want standards associated?
The only thing I want to do from Washington, D.C. is make sure they're teaching English, reading, writing,
Math,
and
science.
arithmetic.
Science?
Okay, a little science.
Might help.
You know,
Computers.
you're not going to have much of a problem with that, but that's it.
So your task now, and I pray to God this is successful. I really do. I wish you Godspeed. Godspeed, John Glenn.
It's going to be, by the way. I really believe.
But there are
Because the country's
legitimate
going to do
areas.
well beside this. This is cutting. We're only talking about cutting. We're also going to make a lot of money. We're taking in so
So
much.
what about his business? What if there is
And we won't
a
let him
contract he would
We're not
otherwise
gonna let
get?
him do it.
You're not
If
gonna
he's
let him
got a conflict. I mean, look,
now
he's
you-
in certain areas. I mean, I see this morning, I didn't know, but I said, do the right thing, where they're cutting way back on the electric vehicle subsidies.
Yes.
They're cutting back.
You lose.
Not only cutting back.
Hurt you.
Correct.
Yeah. Now,
You don't care.
I will tell you,
Well,
he's probably not that happy with it, but that would have been one thing he would have come to me and said, listen, you got to do me a favor. This is crazy. But this was in the tax bill. They're cutting back on the subsidies. I wasn't involved in it. I said, do what's right and and they're coming up with a tax, but it's just preliminary. But I mean, if he were involved, wouldn't you think he'd probably do that? Now, maybe he does better if you cut back on the subsidies. Who knows? Because he figures he does think differently. He thinks he has a better product.
Yeah.
And as long as he has a level playing field, he doesn't care what you do, which
Exactly.
is he's told me that.
yeah. I mean, I haven't asked the president for anything ever.
And if
True.
it comes up, how will you handle it?
Well,
He won't be involved.
yeah, I'll recuse myself if it is.
If there's a conflict, he won't be involved.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want that, and he won't want it.
Right, and also I'm getting a sort of a daily proctology exam here. You know, it's not like I'm going to be getting away from something in the dead of night. you know?
Welcome to DC. If you want a friend, get a dog.
Well, I do have a dog, but I also have friends.
Yeah.
My dog loves me. Poor little creature.
You know the truth with this
I need
guy?
to bring him to DC.
He's, I know every businessman. I know the good ones, the bad ones, the smart ones, the lucky ones. I know them. This guy's he's a brilliant guy. He's a great guy. He's got tremendous imagination and scientific imagination, far beyond, you keep talking about a technologist and all, but you're much more than a technologist. You are that. But he's also a good person. He's a very good person, and he wants to see the country do well. And I know a lot of great business people, really great business people, but they're not really, in some cases, very good people. And I know people that would try and take advantage of the situation. This guy's somebody that really cares for the country. And I saw that very early on. I saw it really a long time ago when I got to know him. He's a very different kind of a character. That's why, who loves him? Young people that are very smart and that love the country.
Up next, more.
All right, so it looks like he's got about.
All right, Barry, thank you for streaming this. I appreciate, again, go to Barry's channel. Tell him I said thank you for streaming that because I couldn't find a good stream. All right, so real quick, I want to bring this up because I think Sean Hannity's about to do this. He's going to say more coming back, and then when we come back, he's going to be like, oh, we just ran out of time. We're going to do a part 2. I'm going to make that prediction that in 2 minutes, when he's back from commercial break, he's going to say that part 2 of a 3-part interview will be back tomorrow. That's just saying. Yeah, I think it's a good interview. I think this interview is not really for us. This interview is for it's for millions and millions of Americans who are on the edge and don't know. They're very confused. They don't know what's going on, and they want to see this for themselves. There's a lot of people in the United States of America that are very confused, guys. They don't know what to think about the Doge thing because every time they look up, they see Rachel Maddow, they see Joy Reid, they see, liberal news anchors, media, YouTube liberals like Brian Tyler Cohen or, I don't know. There's a lot of them. They get a lot of views too. And they're constantly talking about how bad Doge is, how bad Trump is, how bad all these things are. This interview is a really good thing for the people that are not sure about what the hell is going on. And I think that's a good thing, man. And maybe those people and us, I think that they should be able to see this interview and say, okay, this is what they're saying. This is what they're doing. I'm going to make my own decision and watch the interview myself. Vivek ripped off a lot of people. Who? Vivek? Vivek is running for office. Vivek has nothing to do with this. I love Vivek. I think Vivek is going to win. I think Vivek is going to have a good time in office. I think that dude is a leader. Yeah, man. Vivek is going to do good. Yeah. Vivek is going to do good. Vivek is good. Vivek, he had a lot of good ideas when it came to Doge, but I think he made the best decision possible for him and his family. He's run for politics. He's obviously a politician in the making. Happy birthday, Lou. I'm not a troll. Blessings to you and your family. I could guarantee that guy in that picture is not you, but thank you. I appreciate the blessings that you just sent our way. Appreciate you. Somebody said Vivek repeats Obama's lines. You're just repeating somebody else's lines. Like, that's what you're doing too. You're repeating somebody else's lines about Vivek repeating Obama's lines. Like, Vivek is just Vivek, man. You can like him, you can hate him, whatever. All right. So what else do we have? Look, this interview, there's a lot of things that came out of this interview. But Sean Hannity, I would say he's kind of insufferable. He doesn't really do the best job. With his questions, he gets lost a lot. But look, I think that Elon Musk basically saying taxpayers. Who are taxpayers? Taxpayers are Republicans. Taxpayers are Libertarian. Taxpayers are Democrats. Taxpayers are liberals. And Elon Musk basically saying that taxpayers should be mad as hell over the waste and abuse of their money. I think that that's the most uniting thing Elon Musk and Donald Trump could do in this interview. I think that like literally, this interview is about America. Americans believe in many different things. But one thing I would say about Americans is that we all pay taxes, and because of that, we should be pissed off about where the taxpayer money is going to. And if that's what Elon Musk is doing, then we should all agree on that. I have a huge update about my move to Texas. I have really bad news about that. I'll share it after this live stream or after this interview is done. They should be back at some point to give us the update that the interview will continue tomorrow. You guys know how that goes. But once again, if you haven't smashed, I don't know how many likes we got, but yeah. Let's see. Smash the like button if you guys can. I also got scammed. We got a lot of catching up to do. I got a lot. I was gonna leave it for another time, but I'll tell you guys all about it. Free America from Israel, APAC. I agree. Free America from any other foreign nation that is having too much influence, like Ukraine as well. There's many nations that we claim that are either allies or have our best interests at heart. I don't think they do. All right, here we go.
Show possible. Please set your DVR so you never, ever miss an episode of Hannity. In the meantime, let not your heart.
All right, so that's it. That's it for the.
Told you the interview is over. All right, so again, shout out to Barry Cunningham. Ever since Barry Cunningham showed up to the scene, Devori Darkins, there's been a lot of people that showed up, I think last year or the year, probably the year before. I've been here for a while, and I can tell you that these guys are killing it. They're doing a really good job. These people literally have not stopped working since they showed up on the scene. So shout out to them. I told you guys it was coming. I told you guys this guy was gonna come on. So we don't have that much time. We'll be back tomorrow. Blah 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 blah. Again, so let me share some news with you guys about the house in Texas. I signed the contract. I sent over the money. I'm going to lose a lot of money because, fortunately, as of right now, I have 10 days to make my decision, maybe a little less. The IRS is getting in the way of me getting my home. The IRS, unfortunately, for me to get this home, I have to do something for the IRS I really don't want to do right now, which is a long story, but I wanted to make the move to Texas. I had the house. I'm looking at the house every day. It's a great house, but the IRS is standing in my way. And let me just put it in the most simplest terms possible. The IRS wants me to come up with more money than possible to not only pay them, pay the house. It's a lot. I don't want to put my business out there because this is getting out of hand with the IRS. I have to show proof of 2024 taxes, and they basically want me to pay everything up ahead. Like, guys, I don't even know how to explain it to you guys. But this house right now doesn't sound like it's about to happen, because I don't know if you guys know, but in order to get the best deals on houses or to get a house, you have to do tax returns, and tax returns, and it's a lot. Let's just go with the IRS is a huge problem. That's it. It's a huge problem. The IRS is not good. There's nothing good about it. Am I renting or buying? I'm buying the home. But anyways, just pay the IRS. Just ew. You slave. Who says this? Lou, just pay the IRS. You slave. It's a joke. I'm just joking. But that's not a good thing when you just pay the IRS. Obviously, I'm going to pay the IRS. Duh. Do you want me to go to jail? No. But the problem with the IRS is that they want me to pay everything up in front. Like you know how on April 15th you have to pay? Only a fool pays the IRS everything they owe them, specifically everything I owe them, in one shot. They want me to pay. They want me to create like when I pay I'll pay the IRS whenever the fuck I want to. Excuse my language. I'll do an extension because who the hell wants to pay the IRS all that money up ahead? Again, I'm not telling you how you should pay the IRS. I'm not telling you how you should deal with them. But the IRS, they're just, bro, they're taking half of my money every year. And so they want half of my money or a payment plan or all my money that I owe them for 2024, and then I could get a house. Like, no. I want to do an extension. I want to take my time paying them. If they want to put interest on it, I'll pay the interest, but I'm not paying these guys on April. Like, who the hell wants to do that? I have a lot of bills. I take care of my mom. I take care of myself, take care of my family. So that's why somebody said, just pay them. Bro, when you owe the type of money that I owe, the type of money that YouTubers and people, there's a lot of people here that work for themselves. There's a lot of people here that have to pay the IRS ahead of time because of their job. Everybody's situation is different. All I'm saying is that I have a chance to get my house, yes, but in order for me to get my house, I have to show proof of income, show proof of the IRS, and then the lenders of these houses in Texas are working directly with the IRS. Like, it's a monopoly. They're working directly with the IRS. So in order for me to get a loan to get a house, this is why you should just buy your house cash, which is why I have made the decision in my head. I haven't put it on paper yet, that I'm just going to have to take the loss on the down payment for the house and just say, I think I should just save money to buy a house cash. Because, guys, it's not worth it to get a loan from a lender and get all this paperwork to have to do a mortgage. At this point, I'm just going to work for 2 years straight, save my money, and not have a mortgage. Because this doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry that I'm sharing all this stuff with you, but this is just an update that I have about the house because I told you guys about it. I've been very directly, telling you guys how this stuff works. But yeah, I think I should just pay cash. I was going to do a mortgage, a loan, and then pay mortgage. That's what I was going to do. Everybody does that. I was going to do a 3.5. I'm a first-time home buyer, so I was going to take advantage of it. But then I was like, man, these people want all my tax records. Then they want me to pay the IRS. They want to show proof of payment to the IRS so they can approve me of moving in a home. These people are all in my business. It's a scam. So yeah, that's my opinion on it. I'm not the brightest guy, smartest guy. Oh my God, I know everything about it, but I know enough to tell you that if these people need me to pay the IRS in order for them to give me the loan and give me the 3.5 with a 4.99 interest, that's a very hard interest to find in Texas. 4.99. There's a certain deal going on. I try to take advantage of the deal. But it's like the IRS is pretty much getting involved. Like, it's like the lenders cannot do this without the approval of my 2024 taxes, saying that I made a certain amount and doing all this stuff. So that's why that's my update on the home. Somebody said this is how it works. You are facing it for the first time. Again, who wants to? A lot of you guys have been dealing with this for years. But I'm gonna be honest. With all due respect, fuck the IRS. A lot of you guys just like fall right into the IRS's hands. So one of the main reasons I voted for Trump is because, hey, can we get rid of these guys? Like, why are these guys Anyways, that's a little update. There's a lot more that I'm not going to share, obviously, but I'm giving you the basic rundown of the system that the lenders have created. I'm not the only one dealing with this. This is why I'm sharing it with you. Somebody said, find a broker. Guys, I have a broker. I have everything in line. People are trying to make this happen. We are all trying to make it happen. But it can't happen without the 2024 taxes showing that I'm paying them and that I need a payment plan with the IRS, and that payment plan needs to be firm in writing before they can give me a loan. That works literally for New York. That's just how it works. Have your LLC buy it. Yeah, I think I just have to save a lot of money. You know, it's going to take some years, man, to save up a lot of money and buy a house. But I just don't think the life is worth. What is the point of life? I think life is the point. Like, what is the point of having money? What is the point of living life? I want to own where I live. I want to own land. I want to own. I want to be an owner. You know, I want to be just like some of you guys. Some of you guys own your house. Just think it's kind of like Mission Impossible to own a home without basically just giving all your money to the government or submitting to what they are. It is what it is. You know, so unfortunately, that's my update on my house. You know, I thought I was very heartbroken, man. I deal with a heartbreak. You know, I was sick, norovirus. Don't know if you guys know what that virus is. Please search it up. It's not good. Terrible. I had a headache. I had a stomach ache. I had cramps. I felt like I was a pregnant lady. Like, why am I having pregnancy symptoms? I'm a man. This is a joke, but it's true. So that's the update with the house. What else? I had another update for you guys. Oh, I got scammed. I scammed for $12,000 by Argentina. That's another huge loss I took during my sickness days. You know, Donald Trump dropped the meme coin. I missed the opportunity to invest in that. Donald Trump's meme coin did $70 billion. Amazing, right? He dropped the meme coin, which is a coin, a tokenization of his presidency. And then Argentina, the president of Argentina, Javier Milei, did the same. And I said, hey, this is a great opportunity. You know, this guy's doing the same thing Trump is doing. It's Javier Milei. He's always with Trump. He goes on his X account. He promotes this coin that for Argentina, they're going to use the coin. They're going to tokenize the whole economy. And then, boom, it gets rug pulled. And I lose a lot of money. So, yeah, I've had an eventful, let's just say, week. I've had an eventful week. So I had to get all this out of my system because we're never going to talk about this again. Somebody said, am I growing a vagina? I hope not. I hope not. I hope not. So I invested in Argentina and I got scammed by Javier Milei. Wasn't specifically by Javier Milei, but it was by, you know. Let me see if I can show you guys proof of this real quick so that way some of you guys understand. It wasn't specifically Javier Milei, but Javier Milei is a terrible person for what he did. So this is, I lost minus 11,700, 11.7K, whatever. That's how much I lost right here, guys. Show you guys what I mean. I lost 58 Solana. I invested in Argentina and got rug pulled. This is why I only trust Donald Trump. Okay? Don't trust any other countries. Don't trust them because they will rug pull you. All right. Somebody said Lou homes are cheaper here in Kentucky. Kentucky. All right. Let me go search up Kentucky real quick. This live has gone extremely left. Kentucky. Let's go to Kentucky real quick. See what Kentucky looks like. Let's just look at the city. Right? Kentucky is in the middle. You know, it's between Nashville. It's between Cincinnati. It's between Ohio to a degree. Kentucky. Let's go look at some pictures. Kentucky. What's the city? Louisville is a city in Kentucky. Oh, these pictures are. All right, let's look at it together. Let's look at some of these pictures here. This is what Kentucky looks like. It's not convincing me. Okay, that's nice. It's nice. Not bad, not bad. Looks quiet. See any more pictures? Maybe we got to look at some more. Okay, that's not bad. Got to look at some more pictures. No trees. Louisville is good. Okay, Louisville. I don't know, guys. I really want to move. I really want to buy a house, and I really want to get out of New York, but can't do it by giving the IRS like everything. I think that's crazy to me. But and I think it's crazy that people live their lives this way. Like, oh, it's there's two things in life for sure, and that's death and taxes. It's like, bro, no, we should not live our lives with death and taxes. Like, no, we should never. Like, why is there a internal revenue? So why is there a service that treats us like we are domestic terrorists if we don't pay them? Like, I think that's just wild to me. And it's like we don't even have the best education. We don't have the best roads. We don't have the best anything. When you go look at other countries, look how they're living as far as infrastructure, and you start to wonder, well, what are we doing? So again, that's my update. I've had a rough few weeks, man. I have. It's been bad, but again, I got a positive attitude. I decided to, I got really sick, man. I was gonna come back earlier to YouTube, make sure I'm really consistent with this, but I got really sick. I lost money. I lost the house. I'm a mess, man. But it's my birthday today, and I'm gonna make it happen. I decided to share this with you guys. I have absolutely no idea why, but it is what it is. I don't care. I have nothing to hide about that. It's just my process, and maybe a lot of people could, let's just say, thank God that I shared this an hour and 16 minutes in versus the first hour. Okay, so put it like that. So there's a lot of things to do, a lot of things to cover, a lot of crazy things happening in this country, a lot of consistent things happening in the country that we got to keep track of that are consistently happening, so I love you guys. Somebody said buy a horse. Nah, man. Not in New York. Why would I buy a horse in New York, man? If I'm away from New York, I'll definitely buy a horse. 1,000%. All right. See you guys on the next one.